pretty much crying with, you know. It's a lot of hard work. It's like I've always been super supportive of women and people around me that have wanted to succeed, and I don't really have the energy for the you know, like I think you can do whatever you want to do if you put your mind to it. It is so hard. It's not an easy thing to do. Just start supporting people. If someone wants to do something positive, just what does it bother you?
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
like just
how about that?
Be supportive.
Let's support the people.
I think that you just can never take anything too seriously. So if you're living on Instagram and living on, I mean, when I go on, I kind of just have that notion that I assume that everything's their glossiest version of themselves, and whoever's social I'm looking at, it's like their magazine. And then you'll see even if it's stories, you definitely see more of your personality on Instagram stories. So if you're looking at like the social media breakdowns, like you just can't take it too seriously. You just can't get so immersed in a device, no matter what platform it is. Maybe it's a little bit different since I grew up without social media and there were no phones, so I remember what that's like.
It's easier to kind of disconnect from it for a minute and then come back to it.
I don't know what it would be like, honestly, growing up, like how our kids grow up. And that's why I fight so much for now sports and all of the human connections and all of the play dates and all of the fun trips. And I like to have these like core memories that are just hanging out with your friends and being present in the moment. And I think I'm doing a really good job. My kids aren't addicted to their devices. So, you know, so far that's, you know, makes me feel proud. But in life, if you just know what it is and you just don't have any expectations and you go into something knowing who you are, even though it's hard as a younger person to really know who you are, but just there's a real life out there too. There's like a balance between everything.
What are some of the most important lessons that you've learned along the way that have shaped your success in business?
You just have to start somewhere. You just have to get up and do it. Like I think sometimes we can have these amazing ideas and you don't know where to start. I loved clothes, so I just started working at a clothing store. You know, I didn't know that I wanted to have my own line yet, but I just knew that I loved fashion. So what do? I just got up and found a job at this clothing store that I loved. You just have to get up and get started. Sometimes people get so stuck in trying to figure out how they're going to make that happen, but you'll figure it out. Just get moving.
I also love to do makeup. I also love to do fragrance. It's like, I don't want to be put in a box if you only have to do this because this is what people think of you. I saw a comment where someone said, you need to stay in your lane. You can have ambitions, but don't be too ambitious. And to me, that was that kind of like shut up and dribble comment to where it really, I read it to my husband in bed and I was just like, this will even push me harder.
Yeah.
So, buy your way into something just wouldn't benefit anybody. And I think, you know, working hard, and to me, even having my kids see me studying, you know, leaving and going into an office, you know, few days a week, studying all the time, coming home, I have my backpack, they have their backpack, they're studying, I'm studying, and them seeing that I have this, you know, filming career and I'm having makeup samples tested all over my arm while I'm, you know, trying to read my flashcards and all of this stuff. I hope that they get inspired to know that they can put in the hard work. And even though I'm in my late 30s and I'm just finishing college or attempting to do that now, it's never too late, and there really is no easy way out. I've always worked hard, and I hope that my kids see that work ethic and want to do the same thing.
I find it really powerful. I found power in saying yes to so many things, and I would work on so many projects, whether it's from tanning to a shoe company to cupcakes, like you were saying. Fitness videos. I mean, I did everything, and I thought that was really powerful in trying everything that I could to figure out what I liked. I learned so much along the way, but now, since I've taken 10 years to do all of that and do anything and everything,
I could sit back. And I think I was kind of this year or last year forced into a situation that made me really want to stop, being in the public eye and stop being on social media. And I took that time off and that experience to figure out, what do I want to do? I've worked being authentic and sharing your world with people is definitely really exciting, especially if you have a brand. I think it's the most amazing tool that's been invented to help brands and to help get your brand out there. With everything, I think you have to set boundaries. But just like, when I was growing up, we had to turn our TV off at a certain hour, or, I think there should be boundaries so you don't get too wrapped up in it. But I do believe that it's such a powerful tool. It's so important when you're building your brand. And I think each platform really is different for different purposes. If people don't do enough in their brands, I think people love to promote, but for me, I listen a lot. And I love that conversation with the people that I follow, and I really take their advice. It's the most amazing focus group, and I love that on Twitter you can have that, conversation back and forth. And Instagram, I love to, post photos, and you can be really artistic on Instagram. But I think the most important thing is being authentic and listening. I do feel like success is the best revenge. Absolutely. To say that I'm not human, for people to always say crazy, mean things, it definitely does get to me. But I think that with the support of my family, we've always kind of come through on the other side. But to write that, I remember I was thinking, you don't want to be boastful and say, I'm on the cover of Forbes, this is, so amazing, which you do want to say, but of course people will say something negative about that. So I thought it was funny, just the little hashtag for people that might question how I got here or what talent I have. I was like, I'm on the cover of Forbes, so I must be doing something right.
But if you could talk to that 20-year-old or that 18-year-old, what would you hope that she would know from now being Kim in her 43 badass position where you are now?
It's crazy because there's obviously stupid and embarrassing things that we all do and say and go through, but it's like you wouldn't really change any of it because you wouldn't really be who you are.
Right.
So I would I think we all grew up with, the morals of, it was really instilled in us, like, don't party, always, work, always show up on time. My dad would always drill in me, don't drink, So I always grew up with this sense of responsibility, I feel, to live up to what he always said to us, but it was not a hard thing to do. I didn't care to do that. So I think in my 20s, my 20-year-old self, I was the same person, kind of,
I was not. I definitely was not.
Obviously I've grown and evolved and I know so much more, and I'm so happy that I decided to go to school later in life. But as far as, what I think a lot of my friends and stuff were doing in their 20s, I don't regret not doing any of that stuff. I don't feel like I didn't live. To me, living life was just being with my family and hanging out. That was just as fun as being at a college party to me. Because I used to think before, I'm, trying to rush, being a mom and trying to rush all of that. And you see that. And I'm so glad. I remember my dad used to always tell me, wait until you're early 30s or mid 30s before you have babies. Trust me, just wait. Don't do it in your early 20s or, it'll just be the right time. And he was so right. And I always thought about that. Even if my friends or Courtney were having babies so much earlier, I just knew when it finally was my time that it was the right time. And I'm so glad that my kids get this version of me rather than the 20-something-year-old version of me. And that makes me just proud to see all of that on TV. And one day I can show that back to them if they're ever interested.
Well, it's important to have independence no matter what, for my boys, for my girls, for the women in my life. I love to share my tips and the things that I've done right and wrong along the way, because I think that having that independence, there's so much power in that.
And I think not that you shouldn't depend on people. I'm also very much, I think people can also get really into that message of like, do everything on your own and be independent and you can do it. I think there's also a lot of power in understanding that it takes a village. It takes a village to raise kids. My sisters and I completely lean on each other all the time for advice. And if one sister needs something, the other one's there to help with their kids, and that's how we always have lived our lives. And the same thing goes with the workplace and with all the people around. It takes a village for me to say that, for me to walk out of the house and do a red carpet and there's all these amazing pictures, for me to say, oh, it's just me. I just walked out of the house. Like, no, it starts in the gym with my trainer and then chef and eating the right way and the glam team and hair and makeup and nails. And it's like the list goes on and on. So I also think that there's like power in supporting and acknowledging all of the people around you that have helped you along the way to get to the place of being independent. Being at home with your parents, and for me, getting my first job, and I was working in a clothing store and I felt so independent and I was buying the clothes on my own and I didn't have to beg my dad, to buy me something, and I was working and I felt proud of myself. I think it's, even though that's like a baby stage, you set these little goals and markers, and even if you don't think yourself fully, you can really make it happen. You can surprise yourself and make it happen. And you kind of like help your own self-belief, but also like you could get into relationships and feel like then it regresses you and then you just become a little too dependent on that person. And then when it doesn't work out, you freak out for a second and what am I going to do? And then you pick yourself up and you figure it out and then you feel great and super independent. And then I'm never going to go back in that space where I ever have to depend on someone again. And then you can kind of fall again. It just kind of goes up and down of building your confidence and getting out there on your own and then feeling comfortable and getting that support and then getting a push to feel confident again and build yourself up. I think you're just going to start off as this confident person that was so independent and strong.
In control.
Yeah.
Has it all figured out.
Yeah, it's just never like that in anything, in work and parenting. And, we're all just, I've said this a million times, like we're all just winging it until we really figure it out.
Certainly.
But I think as you get older, your confidence builds. And I always tell my girlfriends, like not only for financial independence from their partners, but just for their confidence. Like always have a little bit of financial independence, even if it's a little fun side project that you're doing just to give you a little bit of motivation and not always depend on someone is so good for your mental, is so good for your relationship.
And nobody has a plan B. That's the problem, is if you really put all of your eggs in this basket, I tell everybody that I speak to is you really have to have something to hang your hat on and create something for yourself that's sustainable and a business that can grow. It's just not about being famous. For us, we happen to be lucky enough and blessed enough to have a show, and that kind of started everything else. Okay, don't say it again. So that's very valuable, and that's something that continues to be very successful in almost 200 countries around the world and as many languages. So we got very lucky.
Read all your comments?
I do not, but I find myself to be extremely mentally strong, and I have friends that are obsessed with reading the comments, and I find that to be really unhealthy. So I struggle with like having to step outside of how I feel and thinking about like, what if one of my children was like one of my friends that wasn't as mentally strong and would really be affected by the comments? That would really affect me.
So many times when I could have like laid out all of the business opportunities that came my way, and I was the opposite of strategic, and I tried everything to figure out what my passion was, what I really loved, what my lane was. There wasn't really a lane, and I just had to figure out what mine was.
At that time, were you literally just throwing shit at the wall and saying what was stuck to the wall? You weren't thinking strategically?
Not at the beginning. I mean, people would come to us with opportunities, and I would do everything, and things would completely contradict each other. I would be doing like a weight loss product that I was promoting and a cupcake line at the same time. And Skechers, at that time, I just wanted to try everything. I thought, this isn't gonna last. I might as well,
work and get this while I can, because who knows if our show's going to be on another season, and we might as well just
milk it as much as
try.
It's funny you say that, because at Spring Hill, our brand, our tagline is literally exactly what you just described. It's play on fake it until you make it. It's make it until you make it. And you just kept just like fucking keep going.
But I do also love the fake it till you make it, because I think if you are a person that is not happy or is depressed and you can't get up to, don't have that drive to work, if you're faking that you're happy and you are at least putting out that energy that you are happy, you will feel that. You will get there.
Feel like you're there? Do you feel like you've made it?
I'm a very competitive person. I feel very blessed.
What do you compete with these days?
It's just always been like a personal thing. Like I'm always like a numbers thing on first to myself, you know.
That's how it can be. You're just hard on yourself.
Yeah, but in a great way. Like I'll have maybe a number of, I don't know, what I think I would achieve for the year. Oh my God, if I make it or beat it, I'm like running around the house. I think it's good if you set goals for yourself, and when you achieve them, there's nothing better than that feeling of being proud of yourself. Like I always tell my kids, I'm so proud of you, and I am so proud of them, and I will say that, but I also say you should be so proud of yourself, because I don't ever want them feeling like they need other people's approval and other people's standards. You should be proud of yourself because you did that. I think everyone's goals in life are very personal, and everyone doesn't have to have the same standards or the same goals to feel like they've made it. I think happiness is when you make it.
Do you feel like, yeah, I agree with that. With your kids, you're learning about them. You learn about new things through your kids. You meet people.
They teach you. I think the purpose of kids is really to like reteach you everything.
The thing about business is you can never do anything alone. You can never do, like it takes a whole team to be able to make things happen. So don't be afraid to lean into that also. And like I love my Skims team. I love everyone around, no matter what you do in life, like find those people. I feel so lucky that I also have my family as such a good support system. I see your dad here, so I know you have a good support system. You're talking about your brothers. Your family will always keep you in check and be your biggest motivators. And it's really great to have a good support system, no matter who that is, in business and everything that you do.
I feel like when it comes to business, it's important to keep it in the family, because those are the people that you can trust the most.
It's funny because you hear stories where people say never get in business with people that, you know, you really love, and it can be really hard. But I think the opposite. I feel so blessed that I get to wake up and film with my family every day. I'm here. Chloe just ran out the room. My mom's here. She's upstairs on a different floor. My son's here with me. So like, I love it, and I feel like the luckiest girl ever, but I do hear stories that people say, don't get in business with your family. I never understood that.
Me neither.
Yeah, that's not my thing, but laundry is.
Well, can you please share some words of motivation to everyone watching my show?
My little piece of advice goes back to our happiness theme, is just find your joy in life and just figure out how to make that your passion, whether it's work, whether it's just your personal life. Being happy is the goal in life. I remember that interview that I did, and I said I chose myself because I chose to put myself first for once and just choose my happiness. And I felt like I was putting so many other people and their happiness in front of my own, and it just dawned on me, like, why am I so concerned to make everyone else happy and not myself? And when you just choose to do that, it doesn't mean that you disregard everyone else and their feelings, but it means that you just, you know, for once, at least in my life, I have so many family members, so many kids. There's just a lot of people around that I like to make happy.
There's a lot of a lot.
Yeah. And when you choose to do that, it just kind of reshifted my perspective and allowed me to just focus on me, my babies, my business, and what really makes me happy.
Co-founding a private equity firm. I was thinking a lot about sort of how you do business and observing it from the outside. Do you trust your gut?
Absolutely.
Over the data? Over what other people say? Kim, you should do this? We should do this?
Absolutely. And I like to be in business, I think there's two things. I like to do things that I will feel very confident in, that I obviously feel like I know what I'm doing. I want to learn and surround myself with people that will support you in a way where you trust them so much in the area that they're going to run the business in, and you give them that control, and they trust you in the area that you really know. And the businesses that I have now have a complete equal respect and trust in each other to run and do our thing. And it could be, okay, you handle the employees and the way the business is run and distribution, and I will handle marketing, campaigns, fabrics, fits. And if you just trust each other like that, it absolutely can be magic.
Equal respect and trust.
Yes. And I do have, I think as you get a little bit older and you learn a lot along the way, I think one of the most important things, and there was a time when I didn't have this luxury of choosing who I was in business with.
Yep.
But if you're at a place and you take your time, you realize that you absolutely do not want to be in business with people you don't want to spend holidays with, and that you don't like.
Isn't that the truth?
Sounds really simple, but I didn't have that opportunity for so much of my career of choosing who I really wanted to be in business with, or what deals I did, or having the opportunity to really get to know them. I mean, I think it's just really simple. Like, I live my life just trying to be a good person, do right by other people, be kind to everyone, and focus on yourself. Sometimes you need to give yourself a little bit more love. Sometimes other people need a little bit more love, and there's just enough to go around.
You're giving it.
More compassion comes with age and the more things that you've been through. And especially, I think my heart has opened up so much in that space, just spending time even with people behind bars that I'm fighting for, and I might not have even had the slightest idea of what someone's gone through, or even understood taking the time to listen to people more than maybe speaking and making it about yourself. And my compassion has just grown, and my empathy has grown on another level. You can't really judge people for their pace on when they choose to really want to dig deep into their own compassion and empathy, and when people choose to grow and evolve. But it's so nice to have people that support that journey and grow with you, because once you realize that this life really isn't about you and it's about helping as many people as you can, all these doors open up for you, and your mind just opens up, and it's a really great place to be when you feel like you have enough, when you would chase things for so long, and when you just feel content. It's such a good place to be, and it's such allows for so much more compassion I think one would want. I've seen so many people on these self-help journeys that just aren't as happy, and I think you just have to sit back and do what works for you and move at your own pace, and understand that it's okay that you're not at the same level as someone else.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just such a, everything happens the way it's supposed to. I love just people in their own journeys, and I never try to be so preachy or to think that someone has to be in my place and at the level where I've evolved to. It's great when your friends have the same kind of epiphanies as you and you want the same things, but then sometimes it's just not like that.
Yeah.
I've never been an unhappy person. I'm always really happy with my surroundings. I don't need people to make me happy. I'm not really ever searching for something. I'm really content. My babies make me happy, my family, my life, experiences make me happy. But when you just look around, and when there's tension and stress that is just not necessary from work, from relationships, from friendships, and you just decide to be still and not try to please everyone, it becomes just really clear. And you realize that you just want to be happy, and you want to share this life and these experiences with your group of people that you trust and you love and who are super loyal. Like, life is always going to be stressful and you can't control half of it. But if you can control what you put out and how you react to all of life's stresses and your response to all of that, and realizing that you could eliminate a lot of those stresses with making yourself happy first and choosing yourself, then you know you're on the right path. And once I did that, and once I chose to choose myself and be happy, so many opportunities just opened up. Things that I never thought in a million years would come my way. It seemed like clear as day that the universe was rewarding me for choosing myself and like elevating, like getting to the next level in the video game. Like, I had to get here, and I was always like here, just in my growth process. And once I chose myself, it was like, oh my God, the universe is opening up for you and all these opportunities are coming my way. And those were the confirmations that I was heading in the right direction. I remember saying that to one of my sisters. I was like, oh my God, it is so crazy. I got this opportunity, this is changing, this is changing. And it seemed like all these amazing things started to happen in my life when I just took a second, was still, realized, wait a minute, I'm trying to make everyone happy. I'm doing all this stuff for everyone else but myself. Let me just like pull back a second, focus on myself. And then it seemed like everyone else was happier because everything was just falling into place. And that was like, I saw it clear as day. And that would like push me and motivate me to continue to just be happy and do what I wanted to do instead of what other people wanted to do. And that was like, it was like a good feeling. The worrying, if you worry about something, it's not going to change the outcome. Let's just come up with a solution. Like, let's say what the problem is, not complain. I'm not a complainer. So it's like, let's just get to the solution. Let's figure it out and let's move on. Don't take anything personally. I've been really blessed to have really great, solid relationships. I have the same group of best friends. We went to preschool together. We talk every single day. My best friend is my best friend since the day I grew up, when I was born. The people I work with, my family, my sisters, but my best friend's sisters also, and everyone I trust 100%. Everyone is so loyal 100%. You can't come up to me and tell me something about one of my friends. If like someone were to say, oh, this person said this about you and they're in my circle, I would be like, absolutely not. Like, I would trust that 100%. And I think that's so rare, or what I've seen is so rare. And I just feel so lucky to just love everyone around you, trust everyone around you. They trust you. My friends know they can call me any hour. I'll be the first one to pick up and help. All of my friends would drop everything to help me in a situation, and to have that real support and love, I think, is everything in life. To have loyal, supportive people around you. And I think you can also tell so much about a person that has really long-standing relationships. That's stability. Best friends will also support you, and it takes that mutual respect. Because what my friends are doing, if they have something that's important to them, it's just as important for me to show up for them as it is for them to show up for me. I might have a more colorful life and a bigger event that I'm asking them to show up to, but it doesn't mean that theirs isn't just as important. So I think just having that mutual respect, treating people with respect is just a given. I truly think someone is such a solid person when they have really grounded relationships. Grounded in love, and relationships can be different things. Sometimes you have your group of girlfriends that you love to go on vacation with. And then sometimes you have, your other friends that you work really well with. Every relationship can be different. If you have just a mutual respect across the board, that's, I think, the number one thing.
Yeah, it takes two.
Something I'm working on is being a little bit firmer. There's nothing that can prepare you. Any person that says, oh, we're waiting to have X amount of money in the bank. Oh, we're waiting to have a home before we have kids. Oh, I'm waiting for this job to come in before we have kids. I don't care how long you wait. I don't care what you're waiting for. You are never prepared. But You will figure it out. And it will make you so proud of yourself that you figured it out and that you got through the day. And sometimes it's nights where it's just, we are going hour by hour to see if we're going to survive, night by night. If a tantrum comes in, oh my God, your life is completely upside down. But it teaches you so much more about yourself than I think anyone, any parent could have ever anticipated. I mean, there is nights when you don't wash your hair for days as a mom and you have spit up all over you and you're wearing the same pajamas, you know, and there's just nothing that can prepare you for this experience. I would say I always felt like I was a compassionate person and a caring person, and I always cared about people's feelings. But my level of empathy was at a completely different level when I started. I might have been way more judgmental, and I would think that someone that was behind bars, especially for a really lengthy or a serious crime, that they probably were absolutely guilty. I had no compassion. I was just really judgmental. And then when I started to hear about these cases and people's backstories and their histories and realized that so many people really didn't have the opportunities to be better and didn't know better, it really changed my whole life. And like my level of empathy is just so different than what it was years ago. And I think that's why I fight so hard for people to get second chances, because people make really bad choices and really bad mistakes, some way, way worse than other people. But if you're never given the chance to change, that's really sad, especially if you make a really bad decision as a teenager and then you're in your 40s and you're given no shot to change when you really already maybe have so much. It was really important to me to express that and help people that have made those changes.